some breadcrumbs getting thrown out here by the space agencies. You have to use discernment because there's so much deception when it comes to space and all the heavenly bodies. And this is why they use flat square psyops and have their Masons push this on the masses big time. It's because they don't want no one going anywhere near these poles. And those psyops keep people boxed in and away from the poles. So here on this planet, we have some big time things happening at our poles. You're looking here at the North Pole of Saturn, though. The sacred geometry and this hexagonal pattern that they're now saying extends hundreds of kilometers into the stratosphere on Saturn. This is a game changer. This is different than just having this anomaly at around surface level on this planet. They're now admitting this extends hundreds of kilometers, towering up off the planet into the skies. And the sacred geometry can be found right here on planet Earth. This is a video that I did in 2014 showing our South Pole. And many of the sites have taken this feature away where they will not allow you to look around our poles. I wonder why that is. So when you go looking at the poles of other planets, you come to find this. The same thing, sacred geometry, just like Saturn, with a hole at the center. If you look at our sister planet, Venus, there are 2 holes in its poles. You see that? You see those holes? You see those poles? Those double poles? It creates a double vortex that they just do not want you researching or studying or even realizing. So this is why flat square psyops get pushed on people and the lemmings soak it all up. Because they're keeping hidden from you what's going on at the poles. And at Venus's poles, in particular, it has a double vortex of energy that pulls the swirling, very unique, dynamic bit of energy down into this region. Where is it going? What's down in these holes? There's a hole on Neptune. There's a hole, as we just seen, on Saturn and many other heavenly bodies, along with this sacred geometry. So we got holes in the poles in sacred geometry. Yet they want to push flat square psyops on the masses and keep you far away from the poles. You see how it works? So, to me, we came very close with the whole hollow earth theory of inner earth with poles, and that's not just on a whim. That's not just saying that. This is looking at scientific evidence, and like I just showed you, there's holes in the poles of these planets that are sucking in energy. Where do they go? Then we go back and we look at all the history. We look at the Hopi Indian. We look at the Mayan. We look at all these different cultures around the world that had their civilization vanish or that they went into the planet, just like the Hopi did. And that's where they came back out of. Where did they go inside the planet? Civilization after civilization says this. Is it possible there could be something inside the planet? I seem to think so. And it would make a whole lot more sense. All the stories add up. And all the ancients that were writing this down, chiseling this into stone, they weren't doing that to deceive me. The ones trying to deceive me is modern man. So when we look back through history and we see a correlation across time frames, cultures, and people, that this is the case, there's something going on with our poles? Well, Hitler had said this is the impenetrable new mother base in Antarctica. That all these countries are flying the same flags. Russia's down there too, China. They're all having a powwow, kumbaya. Around the rest of the globe, we're having war. Of course, they won't let you go nowhere near the North Pole. Every expedition that's ever been launched to go there has been stopped. Keep making excuses. Shoot yourself in the foot. Eventually it's going to catch up to y'all. They keep making excuses. They keep going down these government-made rabbit holes, these psyops that take you away from the truth. The dynamics, the nature of our bodies out here in the cosmos, it seems to be the same. They seem to be hollow in nature. They seem to have holes at the poles, and also they seem to have sacred geometry at the poles as well. An area they want you going nowhere near. So they'll keep having the shills push flat square psyops on you and mixing half-truths in with it so it's buyable to an extent. And that's right where they want to keep people. So I find it amazing that this is all over the place. Why don't you do your research on 19.5 degrees? Why is it that every Apollo mission was scheduled to land at 19.5 degrees, whether they were real or not, whether they pulled them off or not? Why is it that China just landed at 19.5 degrees on the moon? Why is it that the spot on Neptune is at 19.5? Olympus Mons on Mars is at 19.5. The Great Red Spot on Jupiter is at 19.5. Looks like you got some homework to do, folks. It's all right there in front of you. This is Dabu 7. Eyes to the skies.